update as to what is going on around the farm here. So we are I've already just yesterday put in our second breeding group, and so the first group, it actually took quite a few weeks for them to come into heat, and I really think that's because normally in June, so we've never had a November breeding group, but normally in June it's much more temperate out. It's not usually 100 degrees for 2 weeks straight, and just at the same time that I was putting these girls out to be bred to try for November babies, it just got hot, really humid, really miserable, and so it took them a full 3 weeks, and even then I'm pretty certain they cycled. It was still so hot out that I would only see any commotion bred after anybody either really early in the morning or really late at night. And then I'll show you here in a minute, but I always look either for them to have mucus discharge, the girls to have mucus discharge from their backsides, or for them like the fringes of their tail, and I'll show you that in a second. That's how I can tell if they're either in heat or they've been bred. They'll have like a bunch of residue packed around the fringes of their tail. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about. So do you see like all of this, it almost looks dirty, like caked around the fringes of her tail here, and obviously she's swollen, which is a good indicator. But when I don't actually see the bucks mount the does, you know, this to me is like a really easy way of telling, like, okay. And I should say I saw them after Lizzie, and so I knew that she was in heat. But if they're mounting at night, if they're chasing somebody at night and I don't know that doe's in heat, then this usually a few days later or during heat is like a really good indicator to me that they probably were in heat, or they stood at some point to have all this. I don't know. I just always assume it's like residual semen and mucus that gets packed around the tail. So for me, that's an easy indicator to know that doe has been bred. But so, and then it didn't help. We were gone for a show for 2.5 days, and so I missed any of that action that would have happened when we were gone. And so, but thankfully I came back and lots of goats had dirty backsides and dirty tails, and so hopefully that's a good sign. But anyway, we've let the second group out, so they're chowing down behind me. But yeah, so anyway, we've tried using like painting tails. It's literally just a paint that's intended for, like, it gets rubbed off. I gotta back up. There's 2 ways this can work. There's paint, where you literally just paint the tail head, and then you're supposed to be able to tell if it's rubbed off, you know, they've been mounted. I was never happy with it. I feel like they get to fighting and they scratch and rub on stuff, and then it kind of gives it's like a false indicator whether they were bred. So I'm not super crazy about painting butts. I mean, I'm sure some people do it and they have lots of success. It's just, I don't really care for it. I kind of think it's a waste of time for us. I do know people that use marking harnesses, and so that's literally a harness that you put on the buck, and so then they paint the doe when they've mounted her. I 100% have no doubt that they work great. Like, if there was anything that we would use someday, it would be that. I'm just doubtful, especially with goats, of strapping anything to them and then just letting them go out to do their daily goat business, because I really feel if you've raised goats for any amount of time, you're just asking for somebody to die because they just have a way of getting caught or finding ways to try and kill themselves. And so I don't know, the marking harness, even though I know people use it, I'm sure they have amazing luck with it. For me, and especially on my buck, I just don't know if I can get on board with strapping something to him and then just like praying to God that he doesn't get hung up on something. And I'm sure, honestly, it probably never happens. I've never heard of it happening. I just don't want it to happen here. So you can use a marking harness. I've heard good things about them. we just do it the old-fashioned way here, and so I just watch for dirty butts, dirty backs, does acting as if they're in heat. Anyway, so yeah, we've already let go, or I should say, let the second group out. So our December group of babies, those moms have been let out, and that was just yesterday. And nobody is in heat yet, and I don't expect them to be. But anyway, so yeah, that's just kind of an update here. Pretty quick, nothing too exciting. We do have a few shows here in the next couple weeks. Oh, we were invited to consign to the Midwest Producers Classic in Beatrice, Nebraska on August 14th, and so we're allowed to consign 2 does, and so I think I know the 2 does that I'm consigning. I'm not 100% certain yet, but they're all my doe kids are really good, but these 2 does I'm a huge fan of, and I had originally intended on keeping them, but then like the more I think about it, it's like, I think I want to keep building new genetics into our herd before, like I don't think I'm quite ready to start retaining on the same genetic foundation, and so or building on just one solid. I think I want to keep spicing it up a little bit, so to speak. So these girls, there'll be 2 of them. I'm thinking it's going to be 2 of my December doe kids, but they're really good. They're really, really pretty. So anyway, we'll have more information on them. I'll probably end up posting like the videos that we make of them onto our YouTube channel. So if those aren't your cup of tea to watch, just glaze over them. They'll basically just be 2 sale videos, one for each doe. But anyway, yeah, that's just kind of a quick update. We're just trying to make a bunch of babies. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So we'll catch you in our next video.